I think. Yeah. Hey, enthusiasts, what's happening? This is Salty Language episode 660.
The 660th podcast on the network.
Yeah.
I should have said 660th. I fucked that up.
Yeah.
Any other podcast would stop recording and start over. Not us. We're doing it live.
That's what makes us
but
so
not
sexy.
live.
That's we're well, if somebody were to wait, no, they're not. I was gonna say I forgot we don't do the YouTube.
No, it's too much
anymore.
stress on our poor internets.
Yeah,
sure. you got fresh internets, don't you, buddy?
I do have fresher internet now, so maybe we should give it a shot.
Let's see how this goes, and if we got any weird burbles. I think that's an internet term, burbles.
Yeah, burbles. I think so. Yeah, wasn't he the guy that was in charge of like propaganda for Hitler?
Joseph Burbles.
Yeah, Joseph Burbles.
I believe so.
Yeah. Don't hit us up. We both know
no shit.
Burbles. Yeah. Not to be confused with Gobbles, which was Timmy's turkey on South Park.
Also true.
Oh man. So does it feel like it's been a long time since we recorded to you?
Yeah, I guess it does.
To me, it feels like it's been like 2 weeks since we recorded, and it hasn't been. We recorded, Tuesday last week, right? So it's been like 1 day longer than it's had been for a little while. Maybe that's enough, I guess.
Know.
I don't know. A lot's happened, man. It's been a week. So
You got some notes then? Is that what you're saying? Because I honestly don't have many.
Oh, okay. I mean, I got a variety of things. I mean, first of all, the big news is, I got a Blackstone griddle this week also. Yes. Put it off putting it together for a couple days because it just was raining for multiple days, and we finally had a nice day, and I was like, all right, time to get her done. Went out, took me no time at all. It was funny in the book because it's like, tools you need for this job, and it's like Phillips head screwdriver. I'm like, okay. I mean, I needed a knife also. Yeah, but I needed a utility knife because there was plastic wrapping around things.
This right here, Brian, is a knife with a Phillips head screwdriver, and it's so tiny.
That's what I needed. Now, see, they should have just shown a picture of that. Like, this is all you need right here, or a 12-in-1 tool or something.
4 or 5-in-1 maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I had a 12-in-1 tool. I have it still somewhere. I don't know where it is, but it had, screwdrivers and bottle openers and pliers and all that shit. I love that shit. So that would have gotten it done. It had a knife on it, so I would have been all set. Anyway, but yeah, it took no time to set up because literally it was like, it probably took me almost as much time to unpack everything as it did to put it together. Enough. Because it's really it's just like the lid and griddle are one piece, then there's the base with the burners, that's a piece, and then the stand.
Oh, nice.
That's it. So you put the stand down, you fit you screw the legs into the base, set that down, then just set the griddle in the hood or the lid on there, and then slide it in. It locks into place. Oh, I'm sorry. There's that little side table too.
I like the fact you had a little side table because I personally am a side table guy.
Well, here's the thing. I think for the one I have, the side table's really more for the camping size propane to sit on than it is to use as a side table. But hopefully, crossing my fingers, I think my sister's boyfriend has an extra tank. So if so, I'm going to, because it comes with the tube for the big tank. And everybody on Reddit was like, you really want to do this.
Yeah, like, get the big tank for sure.
Because they're like, you're going to burn through those little ones in no time. So
we use the little ones for our porch heater, and we do eat them up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So, but yeah, I got it all set. Got a cover in today for it.
That was going to be my next question. Do you have a cover for it?
Yeah. Went ahead and got, Well, it's funny because my mom was like, she's like, I still have gift cards for like Walmart and whatever. She goes, can you check to see what the balance is? I'm like, sure. And, the Walmart one was, I don't know, $22 or something like that. And she goes, well, here, put this toward a cover for the thing. And I'm like, oh, cool. So I found it's not Blackstone, but it's another one. But it looks like it was designed for the model I have because it's designed in a way that it even has space for that side table. So it's literally designed for that type of model. So I was like, oh, cool. And it was like 18 something.
You saw that big ass cover I have? You know where I got that?
Yeah.
Aldi.
No.
$10.
Really? Nice.
I actually bought 2 of them. I bought one for my pellet grill too.
For that price,
Yeah, I
that's
know,
a great
because
idea.
I was like, well, fuck, and I looked at like the size grill it can hold, and I'm like, it's bigger than both. It's gonna be too big, but who cares? It's $10.
Nice. Yeah. Well, this has got a couple clips on the bottom to keep it from blowing completely off the thing, and it's got vents in the sides so that air can actually get in there. So you have moisture
that is fancier than
collection
mine for sure.
And I was like, okay, I can live with this. And I have this gift card, dude, the gift card covered all of it. Like I had 9 cents left over. So it was almost perfect. So I was like,
now the question I have for you is, do you have squeezy bottles yet?
I actually on Amazon, I found
okay. I was like, and you're going to need spatulas and a scraper.
So, well, here's the thing. I was looking and on Amazon, there was this kit and it had, scrapers, spatulas. It had a cleaning brush, which from what I've read online, you don't really need that.
If you know how to clean cast iron, you'll be all right.
Yeah, but it's there, right? Couple squeeze bottles. It's got a lid to go over, like if you want to steam or melt some cheese on a burger or something, or do a little steam action. And then I was looking at the one and it was like, what was it? It was like $18 for just the tools. And I'm like, okay, that's not bad for all the stuff you get. And then I see this other one that was like, what was it? It's like 25 and it came with a bacon press.
Oh, that's nice.
And I was like, oh, I really want a bacon press. And bacon presses are, for a cast iron or a heavier one, they're like $20 roughly. So I was like, you know what? This is the better value. I'm just going to go ahead and get that set.
I'm going to assume you're going to run into the same problem I ran into with my spatulas, that I'm not super happy about the build quality. Because I've had them bend on me before when I was doing shit.
Yeah, I've seen people on the subreddit complain about that too. Yeah.
But I mean, so far the best thing I ever bought was that scraper from that Asian grocery store.
Yeah.
Because it was so cheap and it's amazing.
Right, because that's the thing. It's got a spatula in that kit. It's got the scraper. It's got one of those, the like rectangle scrapers.
A bench scraper.
Yeah, it's got one of those in there too. So it's anyway, going back to the grill. The funny part was the only thing I needed the screwdriver for was to put the handle on the lid.
That's actually pretty cool.
Everything else, well, it's built for camping, so it's built to come apart, so you can just throw it in the car and. Basically, you just take it off the stand, throw it in the car, and whatever.
Now,
but
after you put it together and you've looked at it, is that going to be enough cooking area for you? Okay,
yeah, I think so. Because it's 22 3/4 inch cooking surface, so it's pretty good size. Like just for her and I. Now, if I were to have people over, I might have to do 2 shifts. But if it's just her and I, or maybe a third person, I should be able to, because my mom doesn't eat a whole lot, so I could probably do, I looked at it and I was like, I could for sure do cheesesteaks or chopped cheese, no problem on this thing. I might not be able to leave the buns on the griddle. I might have to take those off for the real estate. But aside from that, I'll figure it out. Oh, that was the other thing that came in the kit too. There were like egg rounds in there too.
Oh, ring molds and shit.
So if you want to do fried eggs or whatever, or scrambled, I guess.
Make some griddle McMuffins. McGriddles. Dude, I made French toast on mine over the weekend.
Oh, it was so good. Looks so good. Yeah. Then the sausage. Yeah.
God, what else is I gonna tell you? I know, Brian. You keep telling me this, and maybe you're going to hold fast. I don't know. But there's this dude on TikTok I found. And he's this backwoods Cajun crazy guy. And he's got this long, stringy gray hair and this little gray pedo stash. But he makes the most amazing shit on his griddle. To the point that I subscribed. One video I watched, he was just wearing overalls and no shirt, and he's very overweight and old. And I'm just like, I don't care. This guy knows his shit.
Yeah.
And actually, watching 3 of his videos, I'm like, oh, these are good tips.
Yeah, that was something I really liked. I joined that subreddit, the one you actually sent me.
The link Blackstone to subreddit.
Yeah, I jumped in that and was just kind of jumping through that. And I love the fact that they have a policy of any questions about seasoning, no one's allowed to take down or make fun of or whatever, because it is an important part, and it's the first thing you do with the grill literally is season it. Before you do any cooking on it, you got to season it. So but yeah, I was looking through what some of the people have made on there. And I'm like, man, there's some good looking food on here, so it sucks because I'm waiting on the
propane. Because I'm sure you're like itching.
Dude, I'm sitting here. I'm that dork that's like, it's like, hey, let's go skiing. And I buy all the ski equipment. That's basically what's happened.
Yeah, I get it. If I was in your shoes, I would be like scheming. Like, how the fuck can I get a propane tank sooner?
I was so tempted to just go buy a couple of the
just
camping
fire it up
as temporaries, just so I can get it going. Yeah, season it and then cook some shit on it. Because like right now, I got some chicken in the fridge. I got some peppers. I'm thinking
here's a kind of a cheat code for you too. Is because I found this out with our propane heater. Is sometimes when you go to like Menards and stuff like that, they'll have the plumber's propane tanks on sale, and they fit. It's the same size as a camping bottle. Yeah, and they're they're like the long blue ones.
Yeah.
Don't get the yellow, get the blue.
Okay.
Yellow's a different gas; it burns hotter.
Oh,
you don't want that.
That's no good. Okay.
But
it's like I even got like the canola Earl.
Oh yeah.
Like I'm ready to fucking go here, and I can't. And also, I was looking at, like I told you and Luther. I was like, I put it all together, and it's like, man, it's supposed to rain like every day for the whole week, basically. Now that's changed a little bit.
Oh, you just
no.
I mean,
no,
it's
I just
built to camp. I would make sure.
Well, it was only one day, and I was getting that. The cover's on it now. I got it today. It's already on it.
And when you season, because I watched a video of a guy seasoning his griddle plate, he seasoned the inside and around the edges for rust prevention.
Oh,
yeah,
that's
so he did the outside
idea.
edges and the inside, obviously.
Yeah. I'm sure once I get, because I've got 2 videos right here on my tabs, how to season and how to clean.
Dude, I'm so excited for you.
They're the ones from Blackstone's.
I'm sure I watched them too.
Right. And I saw in the subreddit, somebody was like, go watch these right away, basically, because they're great videos. And I was like, okay. And it's like, that's why I love, the up and down of Reddit, right? Is like sometimes the communities are amazing. Sometimes they're awful.
Like right now, obviously for democracy, I'm a Helldiver.
Yeah.
I don't know if you heard all the hubbub of that.
Oh, I did.
That subreddit right now is so toxic, despite the fact of what the community did.
Yeah, Sony caved because they.
I mean, for people that don't know, Helldivers, amazing game. It's PlayStation and Steam, and apparently, for Steam players, they were supposed to have it right off the rip. They had to have a PlayStation Network account, but there was something goofy in the code, and they're like, "Well, we're still gonna put it out, and we'll just in 6 weeks or whatever, you're gonna need it." And it made it so a ton of people around the world couldn't play the game. Because
because it's not a free account. Like you had to have the paid level account.
To play on Steam, you just had to connect. But there's a lot of countries that PlayStation Network isn't in. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, because I saw I think it was a tweet from someone asking the CEO of Arrowhead Studios, like, "Hey, this isn't available in my country. What can I do?" And the guy's like, "I don't know."
Yeah, because you can't VPN around that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not going to work. Well, it might work.
But that like tweet I saw was what made me go, "Oh, this sucks." Because at first I'm like, I'm a PlayStation guy. Get in line, Steam guys. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, and even like me, if I were going to play it through Steam, I have a PSN account.
But when I saw there was so many people that like loved the game that couldn't play anymore, it's like, that sucks.
Well, also you consider the fact that it's like they paid for that.
Well,
game,
a lot of people got refunds from Steam.
Oh, yeah. I didn't know that. Okay, because I was going to say I hope they got refunds because that's shitty. Otherwise,
and so like even the community manager from the company told people to review bomb the game, which is hilarious. That dude actually had to step down from that position. Yeah.
I saw that. Yeah.
Good on
him though. That's
exactly. That's
there.
Sweet Liberty, my leg.
Yep. That's the guy who was out for the people.
That's the one thing I've noticed about this game company is I feel like they're out for their player base, which I like.
Which is very rare. Most of them are, but they also have some sort of like Sith Lord.
Oh yeah.
That they have to answer
exactly.
to. So they have to still, and you want these guys to get paid and make their money and all that stuff because they put all that time and effort into the games, but still, you're also kind of like.
But the fact that Sony caved on the thing, it shows that, and like a guy I work with put it brilliantly. He's like, this game's been training all the players to work as a team for 3 months. And I'm like, you're 100% right.
Not wrong. Well, it's interesting too, because I read not that long ago that Sony's planning on making more of their games available on Steam. So they want this to go smoothly, but I'm guessing all the other games are going to have that up front where you have to have an account probably.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, maybe. Unless they're like, you know what?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. It sucks that they need to have a workaround. If they're going to require that, they need to at least make it to where you can create an account in those countries.
For sure.
Yeah. Even if you can't go on PlayStation and play with it, but you could still have an account to meet that criteria of some sort. There's
my favorite thing in this whole situation though is the Steam charts. If you look at it, it's these red bars are just driving down for the downvotes. And they're apparently going to take that and make it into a cape for the game, which is fantastic.
That's awesome. Love that. Yeah, that's so great. I'll tell you what, if I see anyone wearing that cape,
I'm going to high five them. That's what I'm going to. Actually, I've got the hug emote right now. I'm going to hug the shit out of them.
Nice. So it's interesting because, like, staying on games real quick is I finally I kept forgetting about the fact that I have Diablo 4 on my Xbox. It's a digital one, right? So I kept forgetting it was on there, and then the other day I was like, you know what? I'm gonna throw, start. Well, basically, I've played it before because I played during the beta, but it's like, well, I'm gonna start a new dude and whatever. Now they have seasons going, so I was like, well, I'll just do a seasonal because there's extra stuff when you play seasonal. So I was like, well, I might as well just play it that way, and started playing it, and I'm running around, and man, I had to turn the brightness up on it. I don't know if it's my eyes or if that game is just extra dark.
Let's just
but
say
it seemed darker. It seemed darker than previous version, like much harder to see around your dude. So I'm running around doing fine, all this stuff, and it's cool because I see like a dungeon, and in the past one, like the last one, they didn't mark it as like a dungeon. It would just be like a castle, right? And you go in and you go, oh, this is a dungeon, basically. It's something you have to go from point A to point B, basically, and there's objectives. So dungeon. So, and I'm like, I don't know if I can do these by myself because I don't know how they're designed. Like in Halo 3, I could run them by myself.
Say Halo 3?
Yes, I did. So I could run them by myself, and I'm like, I don't know if I can do this, and I didn't feel like looking it up, so I just avoided a bunch until later. At a certain point, I accidentally stumbled into one, and I'm like, well, let's see how this goes.
Go.
And I did fine. I cleared it. The boss was a little tough for me, only because they changed it in 3 to where you basically had unlimited health packs or potions, I mean. But there was a cooldown.
Okay,
right, or recharge, however you want to word it. So it was like you had unlimited, but you still had to wait for it. Before this one, you can carry 4, and when you start, they only heal like 17% of your health, and then but enemies will drop them. So if you see one and you no matter how much health you're missing, you just use it and then pick up another one because you can't carry 5. Right. So you might as well just keep topping off your health. So I'm doing that, and I get through it pretty easily and everything. But at one point I'm roaming, going to do this one objective, and there's this big area. I'm like, ooh, what's this? And then this thing, I look on the map, and it's like level 52, and I'm like level 14, and I'm like, nope.
You didn't stick around?
No. You know what? In the beta, I did. I stumbled into an area like that, and I'm going through, and it seemed like a dungeon, right? And I'm like, okay, no worries, boo, do all this. Then I get in this room with this dude, and I mean, seriously, he coughed on me, and I died, basically. I mean, it was just brutal.
Lovely.
And I was like, okay, well, he caught me by surprise. I'm gonna go back in. I go back in, dead. It was like playing shit, I can't think of the name of the game now. Elden Ring or something,
You have
someone
died.
looks at you, and you just fall over dead. Yeah.
That was my favorite Elden Ring moment ever, when you just walk out into this big, beautiful world, and there's that fucking
Yeah.
knight. You're like, I got this. Wrecked.
Dead. Yep. So
So stupid.
here's what I was getting at, where this links to like the last part is, I mean, I'm enjoying myself. It's, you know, it's a fine game. It's Diablo, right? It's same old basically. You know, and especially now that it's been out for a while, I can jump online and here's how to optimal build your dude and all that shit if I want to, which I haven't, because usually the first playthrough I'm just playing it through, you know. The second, once I start like, okay, I'm going to try to build classes, and then I do it a little differently. But that first time I'm just playing the game. But in order for me to play with anyone else, I've got to get an Xbox account.
Oh, boo.
Like the pay Xbox account. Like they don't have the free level, I think, anymore.
No one does, I don't believe.
And I'm like, fuck. I'm like, man, I don't want to do that. Also, I mean, because like my nephew has it on PC and it is cross-platform. So I should be able to play with him. And I know a couple other people that have it. And I'm like, man, like I really don't want to have to spend $10 a month to play this game with someone else.
Right?
Like that really sucks. Whereas if I had it on PlayStation, I wouldn't care because I'm already paying that money.
Wait,
you know?
I'm not 100% sure with Xbox anymore, right? But I know Logan prefers Xbox because he can play his Xbox games on his PC.
Yeah,
but do you still need an Xbox account to do that?
I think you still have to have like the Games Pass low end. Yeah. So it's like, well, I'm going to keep playing the game and see. At some point, it makes me wonder if there's any, like, I assume there's going to be areas I'm not going to be able to do because they're just going to be too hard to run by yourself unless I optimize a build.
Get the meta.
So I'm basically I'm running cheat code basically. So, and it looks like the dungeons level with you. So whatever level you are, the dungeon is like that level, which is okay. I don't mind that. You know, a little challenging. But it's like you get swarmed in this game, and I'm playing I forgot what class it is. Anyway, it's basically the one that replaced Demon Hunter. So you can play up close and do a lot of slashing and stuff, or you can play distance with like bows and stuff. So right now I'm playing distance because I'm weak. You know, so I'm like throwing a caltrops down, jumping backwards, and then just shooting at distance. The caltrops slows them down and does some damage, and you know, I can usually stay pretty clean. But then when you get against some of the things, they just swarm, and you're like, I can't get away.
I'm gonna die.
So, I have died. I mean, I've died a few times already, because my dude's still, you know, I'm only like level 14, so you get like 5 or 6 enemies hitting you at one time. You have to really watch your health because, like I said, you only have 4 health potions. So unless enemies are dropping them, you have to be real careful when you use them. But you don't want to wait until you're way down, because then, you know, like I said, I did just get the ability to, my health potions now do, I think it's like 30% or something like that. So that's very helpful.
For sure,
but
right?
Still not quite, you know. But it's like, part of the reason that Diablo has always been fun is playing with other people, because you can run 3 or 4 people, and the game gets nutty sometimes because you have just so many enemies coming at you.
That's what makes Helldivers fun. Yeah.
Yeah, right? So it's like, so right now it's there's kind of an element missing for me, but I still enjoy it. It's still fine. You know, I don't, you know, I'm not angry at the game or anything. It's just,
I'm not angry. I'm just disappointed.
Yeah. And it is cool. Like the other day I was doing something, there's like an event going on or something. And I go into it and I'm doing okay. And then all of a sudden, like 3 more waves of dudes show up. And I'm like, oh no, I only have like 1 health potion. I'm like, this is no good. 2 other dudes just came out of nowhere. Excuse me, because it's live.
Oh, yeah.
So other people in certain areas can pass through, and you can kind of, you know, pal up basically. So, you know, they jumped in and we just housed the enemies, and I'm like,
but
okay.
I'm assuming in these certain areas you can't pal up beyond those areas, huh?
You can, as long as you stay in those areas, yeah, but you can't, like when you go into a dungeon, I think you have to be in a clan with the person in order for it to, you know, they have to be in your party.
That's where they get you money.
For sure. Because I really want to, but I also don't want to pay for it. I mean, you know, it came with my Xbox, so it's not like I put out extra money for it. I mean, I could always just buy it on PlayStation and, you know, play with others that way, but I don't know that I will. I played 3 a ton by myself. So as long as there's not areas to where I absolutely can't play it by myself, it's not, as long as I'm not like, oh man, that sounds like an awesome mode or something, So, but whatever.
Whatever, Trevor.
Anyway, yeah. So I also started
Dave the Diver
2 games this week.
Hell,
Dave the Diver.
Yes.
Dude,
Isn't that
game
a fun
is
game?
fun,
It's chill.
It is. It's very. I was gonna say it's for sure in the cozy games thing. For anyone who hasn't played it, your dude's a diver, but he also has to work at a sushi restaurant. During the day, you go diving for shit, and you have to try to fish for stuff for the restaurant. So if you don't get any fish, there's nothing to serve at the restaurant. I mean, unless you have a backlog or something. Which I did on one of the days because I didn't understand. Stupid me, I should know better. It's like, hey, you have to fish. That's your always objective. Then when these other characters come in and they're like, hey, can you find me a piece of a glass bottle? That is the
sub-objective.
Other objective. But there's no time frame on those that I've seen.
Not that I'm aware of. Well,
so I didn't think about it.
You have one, maybe you haven't got to yet. There is one meal you have to serve that's like you have to serve it in 3 days. So,
oh God, I hope that's not the shark head one.
I don't remember
because I don't have the gun for that yet. But anyway, but yeah, it's weird how every character you meet and they're like, "Oh, you don't know how to do this? Let me put an app on your phone."
Yeah, right.
But you upgrade stuff through your in-game phone and stuff. But it was fun. And it became even more fun once I realized because I started stressing because I'm like, how am I I don't have enough oxygen. You can only dive twice a day. It's like, I don't have enough oxygen to go do this and this. It's kind of like in Stardew Valley. If you want to go to the mines, you don't really have time to run errands through town also. That's what I was like, oh no. And then I was like, oh wait, there's not a time frame on these. So I can do what I need to do. And while I'm doing that, if I find these other things.
The further you get in the game, you can upgrade your oxygen tanks. And you upgrade your suit so you can go deeper.
In your weapons and all that.
And it gets easier. And you spend more time spearfishing, basically.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that was the thing is I just recently unlocked the gun and I upgraded my suit and I'm trying to think. I just got to just past the point where the critic comes in and you have to serve her the shark head dish or whatever. So I haven't been able. I can't kill a shark yet. My gun's not strong enough. I tried. It didn't go well. So I got hurt.
Yeah, I like how it's this chill diving game, and then now it's like, oh, now I gotta figure out what meals we're gonna serve. What's my bar decor?
Yeah. I gotta pour tea
correctly. Oh shit, we're almost out of wasabi. I got you.
Yeah, I gotta get over there. Yeah. I gotta make sure I serve the dish to the right person and all this.
My PS Plus expired, right? So I bought a month of the low level, just because I'm hoping Memorial Day there might be a sale. Honestly.
Oh, yeah.
And
if not, the July will be coming up before too long.
But I bought the lowest level, so I can't play Dave the Diver, and I'm sad.
Oh,
yeah.
See, I've only got 3 months of it. So, because I was actually, when that 3 months was up, I was going to see where you were at. Because if you didn't have it anymore, then it's like, well, I'm not going to get it either.
Brian, I'm addicted to Helldivers. I gotta stay on for democracy.
You need it for Helldivers?
Yeah.
That level?
Well, no, not that level. But I mean, PlayStation Plus in general.
Oh, okay. Oh, I knew. I was meaning the one where you get.
No, I want to have that mid grade. I was top tier player, and then they raised all the rates. So
that's right.
I'm gonna go mid grade because I don't really need to stream games as much as I did like it.
Yeah.
Because it could, the streaming's convenient because you could be like, I don't know what this weird looking game is, but I could stream it, so let me try it. Instead of I gotta wait 40 minutes for it to download
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wait 2 days and then you're like, oh, okay, wow, this game's terrible.
But I don't see myself, unless there's a hell of a sale, going top tier because it's just too expensive.
Yeah, it is.
But mid tier when you get access to those games like EDF and stuff like that, because obviously
that's
gotta play
EDF.
Jeez.
Right. Because I was going to say, if you didn't have that, there's no sense of me having it because that's the reason I had it was basically so we could play EDF and stuff.
Whatever other games we find.
Whatever else
Deep Rock Galactic, Rock and Stone.
Exactly. So today or yesterday, I went to the
Yeah.
post office and I found a quarter on the ground, right? And the first thought that I
Aldi cart.
had was,
Aldi cart.
huh? That's what I was thinking. I was like, oh no, now somebody won't be able to get their card at all.
I love it.
That's it. That was the whole thing of bringing
Anytime
it
I
up,
see a quarter too, that's all I think of is Aldi cart.
right? Yeah. So yeah. Let's see, what else do I have here? Oh, I've been watching Bad Batch.
Oh, how's that been?
Also, it's good. It's the final season. I'm through 10 episodes out of 15, so I'm getting there.
I really wanted to watch that Tales from the Dark Side or whatever.
Yeah, that just dropped.
I tried to watch it on May the Fourth be with you. And
yeah,
Disney was just, I'm sure everybody was on Disney Plus.
probably,
and all I was getting was the spinny arrow of death, and I'm like, fuck it. But I really wanted to, I didn't really get a Star Wars fix that day, and it hurt.
Yeah, I think that's probably what I'll watch after that, and then because X-Men's almost done, so I've at this point I was like, I'm gonna wait till X-Men's done and then start.
That was the other thing. I wanted to watch more X-Men. I couldn't get on Disney Plus. I was so pissed.
That sucks. Right? Did you see the new Acolyte trailer?
No.
No, they put out a final trailer for the Acolyte because that comes out next month. I forgot it was that soon.
I have not seen said trailer.
Yeah, it's like June 3rd or 4th, I think it comes out.
Huh.
2 episodes
dropping
because they obviously want you to stick around for a while. But there was also a trailer for something that I thought was a game and was really excited about until I realized it was a show. And I'll still watch it, but I was less excited about it being a show than a game. And it's called Lego Star Wars Rebuild the Galaxy.
Wait,
dude,
is that like the dimension hopping? That's a game? No,
it's a movie. I thought it was a game, and I'm like, dude, that's gonna be so much fun.
I thought I saw a brief weird TikTok because they got the guy who did Jar Jar Binks' voice to be Darth Jar Jar, and I'm like, that's hilarious.
There's X-wing, like I forgot how they worded
X-wing
it, but they're
TIE
like
fighters,
X-wing TIE fighters. Yeah, and there's all sorts of stuff that's like bounty hunter Ewoks. And,
I'm definitely gonna watch that.
Yeah, and when I saw that idea, I'm like, oh, I hope they make this into a game because that'll be so much fun to play.
Just when I saw the meme that is Darth Jar Jar, and he's like, Misa gonna hurt you. I'm like, oh my goodness, I can't wait for this.
Loved it. Like when you see him walk out, then you just see the lightsaber, and it's a red lightsaber.
Oh my god!
And then he goes, Misa gonna hurt you.
It's so funny.
It looks so. I love the Lego Star Wars stuff anyway. But yeah, like I said, I thought it was a trailer for a game, and I'm like, oh shit, and I was much less excited about it being a movie, but I'll still watch it. It looks like it's gonna be fun, but
excuse me, yeah, it's gonna be a good time, you know that.
Yeah, so as I hope, all I can hope for is down the road it becomes a game, because I didn't realize. Yeah, they mentioned in the video, I think, that Lego and Star Wars have been like paired up for like 25 years.
Holy
now.
Shit.
Yeah, and think about it. I mean, think about how long ago you played the first Lego Star Wars. It was
I guess that's true.
Galaxy far,
that's
far
pretty
away.
Wild.
Yeah, I thought so too.
25 years. Huh.
Yeah. So, yeah, I didn't see when that's going to be out, but yeah, I was pretty excited about that too.
I was pumped for Darth Jar Jar.
Oh yeah. Well, do you remember when they were talking like there was,
all
like
that
a fan
theory.
Yeah, because like when Snoke came out, because they were like, well, who does he answer to? And before it was like, oh, it's just the Emperor kind of thing. Everybody was like, what if it's Jar Jar? And I love that fan theory so much. I was so hoping that's what it would be, because I was like, what an arc. That would be like the opposite arc of, because in Star Wars, everything's in arcs, course. Right? And it was like, there's a redemption arc or whatever. And it was like, how great would it have been if Jar Jar's was basically he was the supreme evil?
It would be amazing.
Oh, I would have loved it. So I love the fact that, when they were probably like, hey, what crazy mix-ups can we do? They were like, this Jar Jar thing's been sitting here and everybody seems to think they enjoy the theory of it, if nothing else,
I mean, I love the fact that obviously some fucking nerd was like, guys, if we're making this weird dimension hopping Star Wars movie, we need Darth Jar Jar because the fans will love it. Yeah.
Yep. And especially the first time. Can you imagine how much they must have popped in the room when they heard, God, what's his name? Is it Ahmad Best or something? I think's the guy's name. When they first heard him say, Misa gonna hurt you. Oh, man. I would have went nuts.
It's almost too bad they revealed that in the trailer. Because that would have been something to say. Oh, yeah. Great. Like, like the Mandalorian kept, Grogu under wraps for so long.
Yeah, right.
It would have been just so great to just watch the show and just be like, what the fuck?
Right.
Oh, God. Unfortunately, if the way the world is now, unless you're the first person watching that show, that shit don't happen anymore.
Yeah, exactly. You're right. So I got one last thing here.
I mean, we're only been on for like a half hour. Okay,
well,
all right.
I know. Well, I'm trying to give you some room though too. I'm not trying to
talk about Brian. But we can freestyle for sure.
Dominate. So this past week, WWE had their pay-per-view called Backlash, right? Which usually Backlash is that garbage pay-per-view after WrestleMania, where a lot of it's like the same matches, right? A lot of people have seen it as a kind of a throwaway pay-per-view in the past. I'm sorry, premium live event. Anyway, so this year, again, we're in the first year of Triple H running things, so they tried to mix it up a little bit to where the matches weren't the same as WrestleMania and everything. But dude, it was in Lyon, France. Yes, which is apparently, I didn't know this, is the third largest city in France. Okay. Now for a pay-per-view, usually they go to 15, 20,000 seat venues. For the big ones, they go to like football stadiums, but normally they'd hit up somewhere like Little Caesars Arena or something would be kind of where they would do their pay-per-views. So this one in Lyon holds like 11,000 some odd people. Dude, it was the loudest pay-per-view maybe I've ever heard.
Well, the French.
Those people were going crazy.
Dude, did they have a BBC match? Three baguettes and croissants?
Oh, that's not what I thought you meant.
Croissant.
I thought you meant big black cock match. Actually, if Vince was still in charge, they probably would have had some stupid stereotypical French,
baguette
match.
Jousting.
Yeah.
They're gonna love it.
Dude, it was, that place was rocking to where Friday Night SmackDown was there too. And, some of the guys, when they came out, the whole arena was like singing their song to the point that apparently they got a noise warning Friday night. That's how loud the place was. Saturday, I think they said during Cody Rhodes' entrance, it hit, what'd they say, something like 100 some decibels. Yeah. Where is it? Loud environment. The sound level has reached 100 decibels. Exposure to this level for just a few minutes can cause temporary hearing loss.
Fun fact. That's some of my areas at work.
Yeah. So, and that was just the crowd singing a dude's entrance music, right? So, I mean, when Randy Orton came out, they were singing his song, too, and different guys. And I mean, they were so damn loud that at times you almost couldn't hear the commentators.
That's pretty wild.
There were times where the commentators just laid out because the crowd was so loud they couldn't compete with them, basically. And they just let it kind of soak in as, let people experience it. Michael Cole, at one point, you could see it. They zoomed back. The ring was shaking. That's how loud everything was. Like, you could see the rope shaking.
Man, those French people, am I right?
They were excited for that's the thing though. WWE, they're starting to do pay-per-views in other countries now, which for years they never did. It was always USA, Now they're really focusing on the world part of world wrestling entertainment. And man, that crowd was nuts. By the end of it, it was almost exhausting to listen to.
Oh, sure.
Because, if you ever listen to a soccer match, right? Like from minute 1 to the end of the game, that crowd singing, chanting, like that's what it was like. It was just that whole thing. I was like, good God, man, I don't know. Like the wrestlers were coming out. Like Randy Orton was just like, holy shit, looking around at the crowd. And the noise from it. And a bunch of the different wrestlers posted on their social medias about, how crazy that crowd was. And it was only 11,000 people. It was louder than I think some of the venues where they've held like 30,000 people, but it's also an enclosed space.
Right.
So, but still, I was like, God. And, the wrestlers talk to each other during the match. They call spots, like what we're doing next. And it made me wonder. I was like, man, I wonder if they can hear each other.
Probably not.
Because it's so loud. It's like, God, I it's amazing there weren't more botches, because, you can't hear somebody say arm drag or something, and you miss it. And now you're getting thrown on your head or something.
As is tradition. Now you're taking a baguette straight to the anus.
Yeah. Wait a minute. What? Sounds like Stone Cold's backwasher story. He fell in the shower and a backwasher went up his ass, basically.
Wow.
I'm not kidding. He told that story.
That is an unfortunate fall.
Yeah. I do appreciate, like, when that came out, people were like, yeah, like doctors will always tell you that nothing's ever gone up someone's ass unless they put
exactly,
it up
right? Like, why was this backwasher suction cup to the wall?
Yeah. And oddly enough, it's pointing,
and dick shaped.
Yeah. Like, sir, this is a dildo. No, it's a back.
Oh man, I lather up the balls on it. It gets my back.
Just because it's textured doesn't make it a backwash. Oh shit! You know what? I got one last wrestling story here, and this is sad though.
Fun. Must be a dead wrestler.
Not yet. Somehow.
Okay. Well, all right. No, I didn't.
So it has to do with Ric Flair.
God. Come on, Ric Flair.
Did you hear what happened?
No.
Apparently, this past weekend he was at a restaurant and they cut him off.
Oh, jeez.
From booze, and he basically went into wrestling persona Ric Flair, and basically told him about how he always puts that restaurant over. Which, for those who don't know, that's a wrestling term. Putting someone over means you let them win. So he said he was telling them about how he always puts that place over. And then at one point, he actually says something about going outside. And someone sitting in the bar or something says, like, I'll go outside with you. And then all of a sudden he changes the subject. Because he knows if he goes outside with someone, he can be the nature boy all he wants, but he's probably going to get his ass handed to him because he's like 5 or 77.
He's a little too old to be throwing hands.
I've heard stories of fights he's gotten into. Eric Bischoff and him got into it one time back in WCW, and Bischoff was like, I was throwing real shots and he was throwing work punches. So who knows if that's true, But anyway, so, Flair posted on his social media about how he'll never go back to this place and, they were jerks and all this kind of stuff. And then a video surfaced of it.
Of course. God damn it.
And Ric Flair's for sure drunk and basically trying to pull the "do you know who I am" move. And it's a bad look for him. But I will say this. He does tell whoever the server or whatever he's talking to that they to give themselves $1,000 tip.
Well, I mean, good on him for that, but still.
So I hope it goes through, but that still doesn't excuse being an asshole. And when you get cut off, you listen, I've been cut off in a bar before. You got to respect it. Like you can't do anything about it. No matter what you do, they're not going to start serving you again. Because you being an ass, all that does is prove their right to cut you off.
I'm sure part of it for him might be an ego thing. Like, do you know who the fuck I am?
That's basically what he was. He didn't go that far, but it was, that was the behavior.
Like he's probably very rarely been cut off because I'm sure people are like he's used to people going like, oh shit, it's Ric Flair.
Oh, speaking of cutting off, it's like our feed is
that son of a bitch.
There we go. We're back.
No, I'm sure he's used to people being like, oh shit, it's Ric Flair.
Exactly. And like somebody even asked the question, they're like, why didn't he said he was there with his family, and they're like, why didn't somebody come over? And someone else was like, because a lot of the people around him probably don't give a shit as long as he's paying the tab.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, that's it. Although in fairness, right? Like if you got somebody that gets cut off, you can always pull the move of, hey, let's just go somewhere else. Like, let's find a bar that loves the fact that you're Ric Flair, where we know they'll serve you, or what, you know what I mean? It's like, you go find another place. I mean, I've done that where I've been cut off. When we were in Toronto, I got cut off at one bar. We went into another one, and I mean, I was staggering, and the guy was basically like, "You can't even walk up here. I'm not serving you any more beer."
Like, fine, make it a whiskey.
Yeah. So we went somewhere else, and I just went in and sat down, and there was a server. So, that's how I got around it. Am I saying it was a smart move? No, but that's what
may
I
have
did.
not been smart, but it was very tactical.
Right. I mean, of course, that was after I was like, "Do you know the fuck
Yeah,
I
you
am?"
motherfucker. It's not going to happen yet, but the Salty Language podcast is coming. You're going to fucking love it.
Now, you're going to regret this. Yeah.
I'm going to blow this restaurant spot up on my podcast that doesn't exist.
Yeah, dude. That was my favorite thing in the comments on Reddit, was so many people are like, "God, I love it when wrestlers talk shop in real life." Like, Stone Cold always refers to like everything as a gimmick, and and like I said, Flair's talking about putting things over, or putting the restaurant over.
If that's your whole life, of course.
Yeah.
Right.
It's hard not to talk in the slang. But oh my God.
I've been inspecting glass for about 8 months now, and when we go out, I look at the windows and shit, and I'm like, ugh, God, that's a terrible roll wave and shit like that.
Yeah. One person
I can't help it. It's just the way I'm wired now. Yeah.
Right, exactly. One person in the comments on Reddit was like, "I'm surprised he didn't drop his jacket and drop an elbow on it, or fake a heart attack."
Throw somebody into figure four.
Right. And for anyone who's not familiar with Ric Flair, he's done both in a wrestling ring. He faked a heart attack one time, because it was a story. And he also, for sure, there's videos of him out there dropping his jacket in the middle of the ring, and then strutting around, and then dropping repeated elbows on the jacket.
Fuck that jacket.
Fuck that jacket. So yeah, I'll have a link to the.
Well, that is unfortunately sad.
Yeah, and it's one of those things to where it's like, so many people are like, he needs to quit drinking, and it's like, at this point, he's not going to. The guy nearly died. What was it, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, whatever it was? Remember, he was to the point that they were like, yeah, this is over, and he miraculously came through it. So it's like, he knows he's on borrowed time.
Right. Oh God, it was a fucking pizza shop. God damn it, Ric Flair.
Yeah. He's a wrestler in his 70s that drank like a fish for most of his life. He's beyond borrowed time. Normally wrestlers that live that kind of lifestyle would have died in 1990. So, yeah.
All I can say is woo.
Yeah, I guess. Well, that'll be the interesting part too, is like AEW has a relationship with him right now, because his energy drink is like their official energy drink. And now it kind of is like, do you back away from that? Or
do you embrace it and you make the new Four Loco?
Right. Because, I mean, you think about it, Figure 4 Loco.
Yes, Figure 4 Loco is the name.
You think about it, and it's like, really, he was Ric Flair being Ric Flair.
He was 100% in character. I'm sure that's exactly where his drunk brain went, is like, I'm Ric Flair.
Somebody mentioned that on Reddit. Yeah, they were like, after all the shots and drinking, shots to the head and drinking he's done, he probably thinks he really is the Nature Boy.
For sure.
Like, there is no off switch. Like, he's always that
Bruce
guy,
Wayne's always Batman, even when he's Bruce Wayne. Yeah,
that's right,
it's the same gimmick again. Ric Flair is always the Nature Boy. It doesn't matter what suit he has on. He's always going to be the Nature Boy.
I think so at this point. Yep. Anyway, so yeah, there you go. There's my roundup, I guess.
Love it. Roundup. Take that, Bugs. I got nothing.
Yeah. I guess, I don't know. Whatever. I mean, but yeah, I also, what else did I do? I've been, actually doing some stuff this week. Like, I got stuff listed on eBay that I've been wanting to list, and just had a little more energy this week, which has been kind of nice.
Is it from the Figure 4 Loco? I knew it.
Yes, of course. Yeah. And then, as it stands, this coming Saturday, we're supposed to do something very exciting and podcast relevant, because we're supposed to go see oh my God, I can't think now, Bad Religion and
those other guys.
social extortion. Jeez, I could not think. Yeah, but also we're supposed to actually in person meet former Third Mike.
Yeah, right.
Tate.
That'll be weird.
So yeah, so I'm sure we'll get some pictures together and post them and whatnot. That'll be so strange. Powerbomb. 3D. Yeah. I mean, we got hit her with a tag team. Wait. If there's something tall to climb on, you got to go up top. I mean, Doomsday device for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Ooh, what a rush.
What a rush indeed.
Yikes. So yeah, anyways, that's kind of exciting and
so
should be fun.
I'm seeing lots of images of my past life lately, Brian. Because Michelle is so into Lorcana.
Oh.
Like she's bought multiple starter decks, like pre-cons. She started playing online because she found a website that you can build decks and just play.
Kind of like oh shit, I forgot what it was for Magic. Not Apprentice. Was it? No, Apprentice was the game.
I don't remember.
Are you talking like, is this an official website
idea.
Or no?
Yeah.
Okay.
It kind of looks like Hearthstone, I'll be honest, when I saw the screen. Yeah. But and she's talking about playing in tournaments. And she's like, there's this convention in Indianapolis where I'm like, you mean Gen Con?
This isn't, you mean
the
convention
like the
for
gaming convention?
Yeah. Yep. The one where my nephew became a national champion.
There you go. I forgot he did that. Yeah.
First time national champion, in fact. Yep. Yeah. The record books in Magic will always show that he's the first legacy champion.
For him, right?
Yep. World champion.
Yeah, say. It's she's in deep, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
like her whole goal right now. She's like, I want to figure out a deck to beat the meta because everyone's playing the meta.
Right.
It's funny. So I've been like rattling off like old Magic decks. I'm like, well, here's a deck that used to work, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah. Just gotta be careful. You don't stand too close to the edge of the
I know, right?
Yanked right back in.
Just when I think I'm out. You pull me right back in. Yeah, it's funny to see though.
Yeah, and I'm sure. Right, I'm sure she's diving through all the like strategy websites and shit. Like we used to go to like Star City Games and shit for strategies. Yep. Yeah, the thing in the meta is that you have to find out what the people locally are playing.
That's what I told her.
Because sometimes the local meta is way different than the national.
Because I told her, I'm like, you can sit on your laptop, you could play against meta decks all day, and you can figure out a deck that's going to beat them. But I'm like, you go over to the shop, what's it called, Refined Gaming, because they're having a case tournament at the end of the month. I'm like, if you go over to Refined Gaming and everyone's playing the meta, and you're doing good, there's going to be one kid with some dopey deck that's going to beat you.
100%. It'll
be like a Donald Duck deck or something, or it'll be exactly. It'll be something insane, and it doesn't make sense, and that's why it's going to win.
Yep, I remember that happening at our shop. Is one of the tournaments everybody was playing similar meta decks, and John Vanderby got beat by a kid who was playing Lava Axe. Or not John. I'm sorry, not John. I think it was Ken Rawson. Got beat by a little kid playing Lava Axes, and he was like, "Who plays Lava Axe?" And I'm like, "That kid."
No shit, exactly.
Because you can't prepare for that. That's random shit, And a lot of times that that can give you a little false confidence, I guess is the best way I could put it, because you're like, holy shit, I housed everybody. It's like, slow down, like they just didn't see you coming. Like if you bring that deck every time, someone will figure you out and shut you down. Sure. Like, but in the meantime, you might have
if this shop was a human body, you were an unknown virus.
Yes, exactly.
And you came in and fucked shit up. But everyone's aware of you now.
Like I've been vaccinated against, the flu, and you're like, yeah, fuck you, I'm not the flu, I'm malaria.
Like,
like,
God damn it. Yeah, it is fun though. Yeah, we popped in.
I mean, I'm not in any way trying to shit on it or poo poo it. It's just it's the truth,
that's what I told her. I'm like in my experience, you can prepare as much as you want, and somebody's gonna come in with something random, and they'll ruin your life.
Yeah.
Because you don't see it coming,
true too. Yeah, might run through everybody else, and then you hit that one person, and it's the Lava Axe thing. Like I said, who plays
seriously,
Lava Axe?
really?
Yep. that kid, and he just
because when we went,
too.
we stopped by the shop on Sunday. Because she's like,
Yeah.
well, when we first bought the decks, we went to Checkmate, and I bought like a little 100-card box because I'm like, we're gonna have extra cards, and now it's it's grown. So
are you?
No, we're not Monster Box, but we need a.
Okay,
we got
like
we just got an 800
probably?
count box, and
Okay.
she's like, well, can we stop somewhere so I can get a new box? I'm like, well, we'll just go to where the habit started. We'll go to the dealer.
Yeah. You want a box? I'll box you.
Hey-o.
And
it was they were having a Lorcana tournament that day, and like looking in the room, it was creepy, weird old dudes, teenagers, and then young kids.
Yeah,
and I was like, this is the
exact
mix. Yep, it's exactly what I expected.
Yeah, Yep. Just like if it was a My Little Pony tournament, it'd have pretty much the same
exactly.
crowd. Yeah,
it's like I feel like the. Like the grizzled old vet that they got out of retirement to go back into the jungle,
No, what you would be is you'd be the guy they'd bring in to coach the young people.
Yes, exactly.
Because you have that old experience, and you'd be like, these kids
they don't know.
Chewing on your cigar,
They don't know when we had to keep track of our life on a cardboard counter. And we didn't use playmats or sleeves because we're real men.
Oh, seriously, right? Still, the playmats thing, I can't do. Sleeves 100%. I want to protect my valuable cards. The playmats
she
too far
bought
for
some
me.
sleeves off of Facebook Marketplace, and it's I didn't know Dragon Shield was doing this. They've taken classic paintings and Dragon Shielded them.
Yeah, they've done a variety of things.
Like she has the girl with the pearl earring, but then the girl's also got a white dragon like next to her. It's
Okay.
I'm like, because I saw them, I'm like, those are fucking cool, and I looked them up, and they got a ton of them that are classic paintings, but with dragons added to them.
No one will care about this, but what's a box of Dragon Shield?
Oh God, I don't even. I think so, maybe.
Yeah, I was to say they were like 8 or 10 when we had our shop, so I figured inflation.
I try to remember how much we paid for the two we got at Checkmate that one day. It might have been like 12, 13 for just the matte, matte color.
Okay. Yeah.
But the ones she found on Facebook were dirt cheap compared to
Counterfeit.
Probably whatever.
No. Somebody's making them in their
But
background.
yeah, so it's funny seeing this because obviously we went through it,
Yeah.
And it's funny seeing from an outside perspective, someone that's been there before. I'm like, oh God, I recognize all these signs.
I mean, I don't want to compare it to this, but it's similar probably to an addict seeing someone like
exactly. I mean, it's funny because we pulled up to the game store and Logan texted me. It was a picture of him holding a handful of Lorcana cards, and it was just like, "Hey, when we playing?" Because he bought a deck. And I'm like, funny you text me that, and I took a picture of the outside store and I said him, and I'm like, and I didn't know if he probably didn't get the reference. Michelle didn't get it. Maybe you won't get it. I don't know. But I was like, we're at the shooting gallery right now, which is, slang for a heroin house.
You're not wrong.
Exactly.
Yeah. There's a reason we used to call it cardboard crack. I mean, that was what we used to call magic. So yeah, I hear you. Yeah, that's fun. That's cool. I mean, I'm glad she's enjoying it, and I'm glad the game is seemingly a good game. I've seen, the stuff I read about. Game. People seem to
also get this.
Well, like I said, when you have magic to base a game off of, essentially, I'm not saying copy it, but it's like it's got strong mechanics that you can train, and you just got to tweak a little bit so it's a novel.
This
concept.
place also has at their shop technology that I wish you and I had when we had our shop, or worked at the shop.
Money printing machine?
That too. But she was asking about like certain singles, and the guy's like, oh, here, you can look at our singles here. And it was just a tablet. And you can flip through to all their cards on their search and see if they have them.
Yeah,
like, it seems like a pain in the ass to keep that inventory up, but damn, that's kind of nice.
See, that was one of the things I tried to come up with, was figuring out when we had our shop, because I was like, is there a way I can track our inventory so that I could literally have a rotating buy list so that we would know, oh shit, we need more of this. Not so much the rares, because you could kind of go, oh, I can see we only have one or two, but like the uncommons that are the ones everybody wants, stuff like that.
If only I was as versed in Excel back then as I am now. That would have been perfect.
Yeah. Well, that was the thing though, right? It was like, how do you scan
Yeah.
all that? You just have a barcode per card. How, there's a lot of logistics that I was like, and that was before stores were really doing that. Now, a lot of stores have embraced digital stores and stuff. So it's a different, because do you remember going to the underground in Ann Arbor? You remember how they used to have the pull cards and you had to walk it up with or fill out a card, whichever it was. I don't remember. You had to walk it up and be like, here, I want these. And they'd be like, oh yeah, we don't have this. We don't have, and it was like, this
your system
sucks.
is broken.
Your system stinks.
Yes,
yeah. It reminds me of the DVD placards that we used at Family
yeah,
Video.
that's 100% what it was. Yeah.
Where it's like, oh, cool, you have this in. You walk it up front and like, yeah, we don't have it.
I don't know why that orange thing's out there, but we definitely don't have it.
Yeah. GameStop's dealt with that for years because that was the system they used for a long time. You walk the ad box or the box up and they're like, oh, we don't have any. Well, like, I don't even bother walking the box up anymore. I just will walk up and be like, do you have this? Right. Because I know they got to just go put that thing back. It's like the waste of time. Anyway, but yeah, that is cool. I think my nephew said one of the stores in town, if you want singles, I think it's Game Room. I think you have to order them within like their store certain hours. Then they pull them and then you can come pick them up. Even if you're in the damn store, you can't just get
That's why I hate
singles.
the Game Room.
And I was like, that's such a dumb
I know the
idea.
Game Room. I could literally ride my bike to it. I won't go there because fuck those guys.
Well, we have our reasons. Yeah. I do have a bit of a balance to that, but because they did come through and help us out a couple times when we had our shop, but still, fuck that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, going back to the others, like it's so funny, like hearing you say that stuff though, because even you just talking about the meta and stuff, it's like, I just kind of started twitching a little bit. Yeah, it's like, no.
Because it's funny because she'll ask me questions and I'm like, I don't know the cards, and she's like, well, you've played the games though, and you might just have some insight. I'm like, all right, fair enough. Lay it on me,
Yeah, like you can understand synergies of things or something. Yeah, I can the nets. I can understand that. Yeah. One of the things I would say that might just be the move is just go play in a tournament with a meta deck. See the meta. And
that's why I told her with her playing online. I'm like, have you played the meta? She's like, no. I'm like, well, build one and play it, and so you can see how it works from the inside.
Well, that helps too, because if you understand, remember Earthbound Ravager, that deck in Magic? That was such a huge deck, and at first I was like, I don't want to play this, and I'm like, but I got to play it so I know the deck. Now I know how to counter it. I know where in the game
where it's weak and all that.
Yeah. Right. What creature do I need to kill? Do I need to kill it early? Or can I wait a little? You learn a little more nuance to the game. You're right. It's a good.
It's
good
like unfortunately, because I asked the guy at the game shop, I'm like, do you guys do like Lorcana night or like open gaming? He's like, well, you guys can come in and game anytime you want, but he's like, we mostly people come here and play Lorcana for the tournaments. It's like, because I was hoping there'd be some sort of like, oh, it's Thursday Lorcana day or something. So people,
like we used to do for
because
like we on Arena or whatever during the week or not.
I think it'd be good for her to go and actually play people face to face. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, also, I mean, I don't. There's zero judgment, whatever, in any of this, right? But it's sitting down across from someone is different than playing against 100%. Them online. It's a little more intimidating. Sometimes people are assholes. The timing of how they play differs. It's a different beast.
I told her the exact same thing. Like my example was the classic. I'm playing blue. I have 2 islands set aside. You play a card, and I tap a card in my hand and go, all right.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I might be holding not a counter spell, but you don't know that.
You could be holding another island. Yeah. You 100% could be holding another island because I used to do that all the time. There's definitely decks in Magic that you didn't want to put more than like 4 land down or something like that. Or you would play your land strategically for those kind of reasons because you want your opponent to think a certain way so you can play the way you want to play.
It's a lot of mind
That's
games.
where knowing the decks helps a whole lot.
That's what I told her the exact same thing. I'm like, it's totally different.
Telling that. You saying that about playing blue, that
I know, right?
Up a little bit too. So many games when you played against Stasis back in the day, and you're like, You know, I mean, God, you basically just wore your opponent down till they just conceded more than you beat them.
All right. Yeah, I'll let you have that one.
Okay.
That's my favorite.
Yep.
That was always my favorite. You could have that one.
Yep.
Oh?
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean.
Yeah. Yeah. God. And I'm sure there's some sort of counterspell decks in that game.
There is, I guess, some control aspects, but there's nothing to actually counter stuff being played yet.
Really? No. Wow. Okay. Wow. Even in Marvel, they didn't go heavy on it. But I don't know if you remember Marvel had a card called Fizzle. Remember, which was a magic term for basically when a spell did not, was not successfully resolved. It fizzled. So yeah, I thought that was a great counterspell card in Marvel. And if I were to buy any card from that game now, I would love to still have a fizzle and just put it on the wall, basically.
Fair. Fizzle.
Okay, so yeah, well, that's
good
cool.
Times, man.
Let me know how that goes because I'm very curious.
Yeah, I mean, now that Logan actually bought 2 decks, so him and his cousin can play, and they encourage playing group games with this game. Yeah.
Oh, really?
So
okay.
I think we'll have to all sit down and play a game sometime. Because I came home from work yesterday, and the kids came over, and I walked the door, and Logan and Michelle were sitting at the table playing a game. I'm like, all right, excellent work.
Yeah, nice. That's
I know, it's
nuts,
crazy,
man. Yeah. It's one of those where it's like when that game first got announced and all that, I thought about it I'll just buy a pack here and there and blah, blah. And I still might occasionally if I think about it, but I would just I have to stay outside that orbit because if I start getting back in that orbit, I'm gonna want to get in that orbit.
That's how I feel too. That's why I've been kind of I'm like. I'm away from the fire, but I'm close enough to feel the warmth, But
right, you're like, I'm just gonna be over here in my tea house serving tea to people. You can learn firebending all you want.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, and I will guide you as much as I can.
Yeah.
And if if you want me to sit down and play a game with you, I will. But I don't know if I want to go down the path of actually building a deck.
Well, and that's a different beast too. That's where having those strategy sites is nice because you can find how to build decks and stuff. Like if you're not because if you're going to go play a tournament, you really should be trying to play. You either got to have one or two strategies. One is you play your tabletop decks and understand that you're probably going to get housed most of the time, or you go the other way and you try to play the absolute best decks you can afford.
Because I mean,
and that's.
It's there, Brian. I've told her the stories. I'm like, back, we used to get InQuest magazine when a new set came out. And they'd have the whole set printed page to page. You could see all the cards. And then I would be in school in my notebook writing deck ideas and building decks in my notebook. Instead of paying attention and taking notes, I'd be building decks and I'd go home and make them.
Well, at least it paid off.
It's great.
That for so long because once online sites started popping up, they used to post the spoilers of new sets, and same thing was I would start pulling oh, this will be good in this current deck, or it's like you start going, how does this affect the current meta? Before you even think about new decks, even you're like, does anything in there fit in something else really well? And then you also, along the way, are thinking, "Ooh, that could be fun to play."
At this. Well, and this is where her and I have the same brain, which is weird, because she wants to build weird shit too. Because I'm like, oh, I used to love building weird shit,
Yeah.
Weird decks was my forte. Yep. I loved building weird decks.
Yeah.
Feel like you'd see some sort of rare card that no one uses, and you're like, how can I use this?
Diminishing returns.
Diminishing returns. Zer's weirding. That's my claim to fame.
Weirding. I was just gonna say Zer's weirding is probably the card you're known for. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
It's like with my nephew playing the. Sorry for those who don't game, but playing squirrel decks in Magic, and then once they rotated out, he was like, they reprinted a couple of the cards, and then there were some other things, and he goes, I think I can build a new squirrel deck, and he put one together, and it worked okay. It was just close, but not quite. And what was funny was there was a card called Tooth and Nail, and he was right on the cusp of developing that deck before it hit big. Then there was a tooth and nail deck that was like dominating the format basically. And he was right there almost, you know. I did the same thing with a control version of I don't remember the card now, shit. Disciple of the Vault, where it was like when an artifact would hit the graveyard, your opponent would lose one life, or it would deal one damage. I can't remember which it was, but it was like, and I found a way to basically cycle cards to where you could bring cards back. It was it was a deck that was popular during Urza's block. It was Junk Diver.
Dude, yeah.
Okay.
That was what I was phasing out. Yeah.
Okay. Well, it was basically a card that would like allow you to, I think at the time it was something where you could bring an artifact back, then you could sacrifice it. And every time you sacrifice it, it dealt damage, and you could basically loop it.
Naturally.
And I built a newer version of that. And then a few weeks later, I saw a better version of it, but I was like, oh, it was right there.
So close.
Like, right there.
I was at the ground floor.
And those also make you feel really cool because you're like, oh, I was right there with like, this is a new hot deck kind of situation, you know? Yeah. Good. Or Garrett actually came in with Earthbound Ravager, you know, before it was like the hotness. So, you know, so I said it's fun either way, but it's also fun when you just create that crazy ass deck and then there's some success with it, you know. Like if you can actually win with it, it actually adds a whole lot to it, because you're just like, especially in a tournament, because again, now you're that unknown virus.
Yeah,
you know?
Exactly. Who the fuck's this guy?
But it would be fun. Can you imagine walking into like a local tournament and you just keep winning each week with like some random jank? You know, it just frustrates the hell out of the better players.
Are you talking about deck of commons?
A little bit. Or my what was it? Uncommon white deck. You know, my soldier deck. That's what it was. When I showed up at Collector's World and you were like, hey, there's a tournament. And I'm like, oh, I should build something. And then won the tournament.
Good times, man.
So, yeah.
Glory days.
We've had our moments, for sure. Yeah. So, anyway, well, we should probably move on to QoftheW.
Q to dubs. I don't.
Else,
that carried us into what we needed to be.
Yeah, we've already talked about a lot of stuff.
Last week we asked you guys, what's the most unsuitable, not safe for work thing you've ever seen someone do in public? On Instagram would be not posting. Very, very unsuitable.
Ooh.
So we got nothing on the Instas. But let's flip it over to Face page. Got a few.
Okay.
Let's see here, Brian. We got, people shared it too. Oh, you shared it and someone else did.
Yeah.
Was there any answers on the shares? It doesn't look like it.
I don't think so. Although I will say, if anyone, you know, if you're clicking on it, like, you know, please share it, because that way we can maybe
that
get
would
more
be
answers
cool.
And stuff too. We'd appreciate that.
So Diamond Top Fan, our Diamond Top fans came in for us this week. Kiki, she says, do seeing pictures or videos of myself doing not safe for work things in public count? Laughing while sweating emoji. And Diamond Top Fan Big Dev, he says, 2 dudes getting sloppy toppy in an alleyway by a bar in Chicago. Yeah.
Wow. Him and Travis, I assume. Yeah.
That's it, man. That's it.
That's it. People didn't want to tell their stories, I guess.
Scared.
Yeah. All right. Well, I got Cheeto's answer here, because I reminded him and he sent it in.
Man, the myth, the legend.
Thank you, Cheeto. Yep. And he says, I used to work with a guy that would occasionally pull his pants down enough to have his ass hanging out, but he'd have an apron on. So from the front, he looked normal. Then he'd turn around. Hell, there were a couple of times he would stand at the register like that and talk to people as they left.
I mean, that's kind of funny. I'm not going to lie.
A little bit, yeah. He says, I used to deliver pizza while still coming down from acid trips. That was pretty not fucking safe for work. He says, sorry, I don't have any more. I've lived a fairly tame life. Well, that's not a bad thing. I mean, it just means that people haven't behaved like absolute savages around
Exactly.
you.
Not until July, am I right?
It doesn't have to be something you did. Yeah, you know.
What? Wait, what?
What?
I just saw it. Oh, I'm a goose. Yeah,
Oh,
I just saw a thing that was like, I read it, as it says Magic Presents Celebrate D&D's 50th anniversary. And I read it as Magic's 50th anniversary. I'm like, someone doesn't know what they're doing.
Yeah. D&D is definitely 50 because that came out.
D&D is definitely 50.
73, I think. Yeah, that would be 50 or 74, whatever. No, Magic came out in what, 90?
Yeah, I was just I was flummoxed when I read it.
Yeah. Magic's what, over 30 though. I mean, it's
old man.
It's amazing. It's lasted. I mean, it still amazes me to no end that Magic, Pokemon, and Yu-Gi-Oh are still being made. I never thought, especially Yu-Gi-Oh, I never thought Yu-Gi-Oh would last as long as it has. Pokemon, it was like, well, there's also the people just love Pokemon.
For sure, right? Those weirdos.
And, Magic at this point, I feel like it'll just go on forever, basically. As long as they're careful, unless Hasbro gets a little crazy.
I mean, I still played a Magic the Gathering, like matching game. It's my cathartic, I'm on break at work game. And new set came out today, and it's like cowboy themed. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? It's very weird.
Oh boy. Yeah, they've done some stuff, and they do a lot of theme stuff. Like, they have Doctor Who decks, and Fallout ones just recently came out, and so they have a bunch of that. And then they did that whole set or block that was D&D themed, which I actually thought was a great crossover idea. I didn't play, I don't play the game, but I didn't play any of that. But a lot of it had to do with dice rolling, which makes tons of sense because D&D. So yeah, they've had some wacky ideas though. What is it? I saw a Clue one the other day, I think too, like a pre-con or something. Clue. Clue the video game, the board game. Yeah. Or the movie, I guess, if you rather.
Great movie.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, I need to get some more answers here. 1 through 5.
Ugh.
Or questions.
5. Why not? Let's go top of the list or bottom of the list. I don't know how it's whatever.
All right. Dude, I got you right here. No problem.
Let's do this.
Right. Which popular drink makes you want to puke? I mean, my quick, easy answer is tequila, but
but we've had good tequila, Brian.
True. Or better tequila, at least. I don't,
I mean, I don't know if I'm gonna say puke per se, but just Bud Light in general, I think is just gross. And like, I mean, I whacked down 2 banquets. I'm the bank. Look at these vintage cans too.
I was gonna say, what are those?
Well, you know how I was drinking fish and I had catfish. This is can 2 of 3 of the Heritage series they put out. So,
all right.
I don't know. Guess I'm collecting carrot. No, I'm not. But
no.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, and it's super popular, and I think it's just fucking gross. And even in a pinch where I'm like, oh, all they have is Bud Light, I'll order it, and the first swig I take, I'm just like, why do people like this?
It's like you gotta go to my move from college, which was chug the first one,
dude. Yeah.
You kind of kill your palate, and then you can drink whatever you need to drink.
Except I'd be hard pressed to find a drink that's popular that would make me want to puke.
Right. Like the only one that actually makes me want to puke is tequila. Like if I have more than like one shot, there's a good chance it's coming.
The problem, you're doing shots.
Yeah. So, but aside from that, I'm with you. I was trying to think like kind of more metaphorically, like what do you what drink do you think is super gross that people love? And I mean, I could be a dick and say coffee, but
that's true. I mean, you don't like coffee. It makes sense.
But in fairness, I also haven't had coffee in a long time, so I don't want to say that without maybe trying it again beforehand, right? So yeah, and for a long time it would have been like Jaeger, because and for sure Fire and Ice. Dude, I can't.
Fucking
after
vile.
yakking that up, that's if I even smell it, I'll probably want to throw up. But I was trying to think of something even like non-liquor that's a popular drink that I'm like, this is it. Honestly, it's like Red Bull, man. I do
Yeah,
not like Red Bull. I think it's
I am
pretty
also
gross.
not a fan. I like that flavor they came up with. I don't know what it
Yeah.
is.
I'll say last time I was at GameStop, I got a free can of watermelon. Well, I had it when I came
Where
over
you're
to your
talking
house.
like OG Red Bull flavor though.
Yeah, just the
Yeah.
plain or whatever the regular Red Bull is. Oh God, I hate the taste of it. Yeah, I can't. I mean, I could drink it, but I absolutely do not want to drink it. I'd rather drink pretty much any other.
Like I've
Well, maybe
drifted
not
away
any, but
from like
quite a few
the
others.
original flavors of energy drinks when I have one. Except
Right.
I do like the zero sugar white monster. I don't know what that
Okay.
flavor is, but I don't mind it.
It's
I
white.
guess.
It's just like
I
Gatorade.
guess, yeah.
This is the blue one. This
But
is the
I
red one.
remember in our heyday we would grab rock stars like they're going out of style, and I had
Yeah.
one maybe a year or two ago, and it's so acidic. And it's like, oh,
Yeah, I'm with you.
I chugged it down because I needed the caffeine. I think I was at work, but
Yeah.
for the most part, energy drinks that are just energy drink flavor are garbage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm with you because, like I said, I had a watermelon Red Bull last weekend, and excuse me, and it was like, this isn't terrible. So like I could drink this. I think I have the coupon still on my account for another free can of it. So if I go over there, I'll probably grab another can of that if they have it. But yeah, I think that's the one that I've just never understood how it
Yeah.
caught on. Because it's just gross. Like I can see where people wanted the energy drink, so they drank it because of that. But once they came out with other flavors, I'm like, who's still drinking
Who buys
original
the OG?
other than mixing it, right? Other than doing like flaming Dr. Peppers or mixing it with alcohol in some regard, or like a vodka with it or something like that.
Vodka, Red Bull, Jaeger Bomb, all that.
Yeah, like I can understand, but aside from that, I'm like,
Who's casually
drinking
this for fun?
And I've seen people standing in line at the grocery store with it in their cart, and I'm like, I hope that's getting mixed
I used
with
to
liquor.
work with a dude that he he's since moved to like Texas or something, but every day he would drink 2 of the big ones. Like first thing in the morning, and then after first break he'd have another one. It's like, Jesus Christ, dude. We'd always tell him, like, dude, you're gonna die.
Yeah, it's like those are really bad for you, man. Especially with all that sugar and the caffeine.
He was like a young dude. He didn't care. This is also a Motley Crue guy.
Yeah, exactly.
So part of me wanted to be like, please let your heart explode.
Are you want to kickstart his heart?
Hey, hi-oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Ugh.
Duck is right.
Yeah. All right. Well, there you go. That's once again the question is, which popular drink makes you want to puke?
Show us what you got. Shiznit.
And yeah. All right. Well, head on over to saltylanguage.com and find any links that we have for this episode. You can find the links to our social medias. You can find the link to tangentboundnetwork.com, which is the network we're part of. So please go check that out. Check out the other shows there. And if you're looking for a network for your show, come join us over there. If you happen to talk to Mark,
tell him we love him.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, right.
That's fair, I guess. Yeah. Unfortunately, I think this weekend is his cosplay convention.
Oh, nice.
So hope that goes well for him. So, yeah, and for everybody involved, I hope they have a great time. And
if not, they're doing it wrong.
Get to do the cosplays or whatever the kids say.
The old cosplays.
Yep. And yeah, if you want to reach out to us on socials, you can find the show on Twitter at salty_language. You can find me at various places at
You can find me on the Instas at The Monotony. At Salty Language on TikTok for all your currently Helldiver content that I've been posting and sometimes food stuff. Patreon.com/saltylanguage. Oh, I forgot to plug all the stuff at the beginning of the show. Damn it.
Yeah.
If you want to have bonus content, and you really, honestly, if you want to help the show, it's $3 a month. Every week we're putting up new content. This week we're going to be talking about our top 10. I don't know if I have mine in numerical order, but our top 10. Okay,
don't.
good. Our top 10 G.I. Joe toys that we were fans of growing up. We've been doing a lot of video game and old toy coverage in our side gimmick there. And I mean, honestly, it's like having an additional episode. We've been going over an hour every week on the Patreon.
Yeah, we can't shut the hell up.
So I mean, if you want more of us, which we know you do, $3 a month, saltylanguage.com or patreon.com/saltylanguage. Brian, you got yourself a side gimmick.
I do, allegedly.
Allegedly,
we haven't recorded in a while. I was just saying before we sat down to record, I was saying to my mom that I need to reach out to Heno because I gotta figure something out. I gotta put a minute up. I'm starting to feel bad, because it's like, I don't know how many people listen, but I feel bad because if it is something people like and get something out of, I feel like I'm letting people down.
I get it.
By not posting.
Yeah, I get it.
So, we'll figure it out though. But anyways, yeah, it's called The Crazy Life. It's me and Heno usually talking about just kind of what's going on in our lives and our aha moments sometimes and whatever it is that we're doing to try to just make our lives a little better. And sometimes that also leads to us talking about mental health issues and depression and addiction and stuff like that. But we always try to keep it a little fun while we're doing it.
Nice.
So yeah, give us a listen if you would. We would appreciate it. There's all sorts of, we have 359 of those. So there's all sorts of things, all sorts of topics we've covered on that episode or show.
Plenty of content.
Yes, sir. And yeah, so I guess with that, don't have a Red Bull and be fine.
Yeah, have a figure 4 Loco by all means.
Yeah,
and also stay salty, of course.
And we're clear.